So we're here with Rich Bailey at Mountain Equipment, and Rich, today we are going to run through the updates to two of, I would say, some of the benchmarks of synthetic insulation, the Fitzroy and the Citadel jacket.
Yeah, we like to think so. Two sort of fairly iconic products that we didn't mess about with lightly, basically.
The problem when you update a classic product like these, and one there's been multiple generations of now, but one that is close to the hearts of many Scottish winter climbers, for instance, is not something to be done without warning.
No, exactly. So we think we've done it. We've upgraded them in every regard as far as we're concerned.
So where do you want to focus, the Fitzroy or the Citadel to begin with?
Well, I guess some things are the same between the two jackets. Then there's obviously some quite big differences between the two. But we'll start with the Citadel because that's the real beast here, I suppose. And the Citadel, the intention has always been that it is the really serious, as warm as it gets, synthetic belay jacket, and it's pretty much been the benchmark for that for as long as it's existed.
And I guess the pro of so having used the Citadel previously, one of the benefits of that was that it just offered unparalleled warmth as far as synthetic, insulation was concerned. But the drawback was always in pack size and I guess weight ultimately.
No, absolutely. I mean, we still do get a lot of feedback from really serious, particularly people doing big mixed routes in Scotland, things like that, where you're going to be belaying just for hours potentially on a pitch, and people say it's just worth getting it there because once you get it to the crag, it's going to make an enormous difference to your comfort, your ability to keep operating on the next pitch, to lead through all the rest of it. Where a couple of 100 grams saved maybe on a lighter belay jacket doesn't seem quite so important halfway up the shelter stone. But we were keen to make it lighter and more wearable if we could, and we have managed to do that. So there's a few key changes, and I guess arguably the main one is the insulation that's inside here. So this uses a new version of high loft Primaloft Gold. And one of the reasons we've waited, I guess, to upgrade these jackets is, frankly, we were waiting for an insulation that allowed us to improve the jacket without it becoming less good at its core responsibility, which was to keep working whatever was happening, and still be durable enough, still be weatherproof enough. And everything we were seeing prior to this kind of had trade-offs, really, in terms of durability.
And this is an uncompromising jacket we're talking about.
Absolutely, it's a bomb shelter, really. It really should be. And what we've managed to do now is the old Citadel had 200, in the main body of the jacket, it had 200 gram Primaloft Gold as it was. This new jacket has 160 gram fill, and yet it is just as warm as the previous version. And that's because this insulation, it's got higher loft, it's got this kind of accordion structure to it in simple terms, that means it just traps more heat for a given amount of weight. And we've proven that both in the field and on thermal mannequins, and a lot of testing we've done on this film, basically.
And in terms of the feature set as well, I mean, I put it on just a minute ago. One of the things initially is just that cut and the feel. It's a lighter feel, it's a more active cut. This is a jacket where previously you'd have carried it up as a means to an end to stay warm, like you say on those Scottish winter belays. Now I'd say it's actually broadened its appeal. You'd want to wear this at other occasions.
Yeah, it's a softer, more comfortable jacket. The old version, it definitely had a slightly more rigid feel to it, just because of the nature of that insulation, the way the insulation was constructed. Whereas this, because of that kind of accordion-like structure, I guess, it bends and it moves and it's softer, and that obviously has big benefits in terms of overall comfort, but also in terms of, if you have to second a pitch of climbing in this jacket, something like that, that's a much more realistic proposition now.
Now, aside from the fill, the next major change I know is in the outer material, the Gore Infinium, which is a big change. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Yeah,
so Gore Infinium, it's a very, very, very weatherproof fabric. I mean, it's close to waterproof, really, if we're honest. The seams themselves aren't sealed, but realistically, combination of that water-resistant insulation inside and that Infinium fabric, it's an exceptionally weather-resistant jacket, but also with really high levels of breathability. We do appreciate people are going to be putting these jackets on over wet or damp layers.
And in terms of, again, feature set, the hood was, again, a magnificent, it's a sight to behold, isn't it?
Yeah, so this hood, I mean, the old hood was pretty big. This is even bigger. So it's a huge hood. Slightly lighter weight insulation in the hood. It's 80 grams in the hood rather than that heavier weight. We found that's about right. And then lots and lots of face protection here, and enough space in there. We fully understand people are going to be wearing these over multiple other layers, and if with all those other layers, with your super light waterproof on underneath, whatever it is, if you can't then zip this up and disappear inside it, it doesn't work. So the idea is that over your helmet, all your other hoods, everything else, you can fully easily get inside it, and that kind of principle has been applied to the cut overall. You'll probably notice it's just a little bit wider in the body, so it goes over other layers better, and it's appreciably longer, so it comes right down lower from the bum as well.
But still with that double two-way zip, so that you can actually, again, if you need to use harness or anything underneath, you've got that option there.
Exactly right. So yeah, nice chunky two-way zips. It's got the same pocket layout as before, so two big chest pockets, and then inside we've got these big kind of drop pockets for gloves and things like that.
I think I remember dropping infinite pairs of wet mitts in there just to try and dry them up in between the next belay.
At least warm them up.
Yeah. Dry might be a little optimistic.
Yeah. So it was a real beast before, but it's better in every regard now. It's lighter, it packs smaller, it's just as warm as the last one. It's nicer to climb in, it's more weatherproof. It's a
pretty solid set of credentials.
It's a pretty phenomenal thing, and we're pretty happy with how it's turned out.
So it's hard to outshine the Citadel, but I think that the Fitzroy succeeds in doing that, because I think I'm right in saying that not only is this lighter, but it's also warmer. And there's probably something else I'm forgetting, but that's what you're here for.
Yeah, it's lighter, warmer, and it packs a little bit smaller as well. And all that, again, is thanks to that same Primaloft Gold high loft insulation there. A little bit less of it, so the main part of the body's got 120 gram insulation. It's 80 in the sleeves. Like the Citadel's fractionally lighter in the sleeves than it is in the body, just for that greater mobility. Interestingly, the Alpha Mayo jacket, which we'll hopefully show you in a second, is actually 120 grams throughout, the women's equivalent of the Fitzroy. So it's a little bit warmer than the Fitzroy overall, but same insulation and all the rest of it. And then the fabric is the same. It's Infinium fabric throughout again.
And the hood on this is a little bit lower volume than the one on the Citadel.
Just a little bit. So it's still a proper helmet hood. There's certainly no problem getting over a hood, a helmet, all the rest of it on a really grim day in Scotland or wherever else you happen to find yourself. But it's not quite as cavernous as the thing on the Citadel is.
And this, I guess, it is a lighter weight jacket as well. So in terms of seconding a pitch, leading a pitch in an absolute emergency, it'd be a really comfortable jacket to climb in, because the cut is absolutely
exactly
spot
right.
on.
We tend to see Fitzroys used for a much more sort of diverse range of use. I mean, for sure, people use them on nasty days in Scotland, but equally, people take them on, camping trips in the back end and beyond. You might even use it as a belay jacket on a big rock route in the mountains on a chilly day. So the fact it packs down and is a bit more versatile than maybe a Citadel is pretty important, really.
So the Fitzroy also has a women's equivalent.
It does, yeah. The Alpha Mayo jacket. Lots of similarities, fabric, the fill, the rest of it, but there is a noticeable difference, which is, it's 120 grams fill throughout, so actually a bit warmer than a Fitzroy.
So what are the differences between the two in terms of fit and features?
Well, overall, there's actually very few differences. It's Gore-Tex Infinium. It's got exactly the same insulation in it, all the rest of it. The hood's the same. The only real difference is the weight of fill, because the Alpha Mayo is just actually a little bit warmer than the Fitzroy. It uses the 120 gram fill in the arms and body, whereas the Fitzroy is just a bit lighter. So yeah, a slightly warmer jacket, basically.
Still the same levels of freedom of movement, same hood.
Exactly so, and obviously a women's specific fit there as well.
So it's quite incredible because here we have 2 classic jackets updated again. Makes you wonder what there's out there for the future.
We'll wait and see. It's taken us a while to get these to the point where we really genuinely, got them exactly where we want to be. So I think it'll be a couple of seasons.
Well, hopefully we get a nice conventionally white winter for us to actually go out and use them.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Thanks ever so much, Rich.
Thanks, Rob.
Cheers.